Hello. The question of today is whether you want to fit in or stand out. It seems like an easy question, and but it requires a lot of thinking in which category you want to be and a decision which you have to take very, very consciously. When we're young, yeah, our parents, our teachers, our schools, everybody wants you to fit in, yeah, in their model, in their way of working, and it's very likely that the system in which you put is a command and control. There is a hierarchy. There's a person telling you what to do. If you exactly do as they want you to do, then you're a good guy or a good girl. If you don't, you're a problem. And that stays kind of that situation kind of throughout the rest of your life, because when you start working, it's in most companies not very different. Yeah? You have to fit in. You have to do what your bosses tell you. Nothing more, nothing less. Then you're pretty okay. And that stays until you retire. Well, I would argue even in relationships, in marriages, a lot of situations is like that. Yeah, do like is the things that are expected of you, then you're okay. Don't you want to follow those expectations? Well, you're a trouble. You're a troublemaker. You don't fit in. I think the reason why that model of fitting in has worked pretty well, although I would argue that it's not good for your health, but it still worked because people still get paid, they get jobs, everything. Yeah, there was not too much stress, everything worked out fine. But I would say in the last 10 years, that has changed dramatically. Well, we all know is that although we are trained to fit in, and then we get our jobs for the rest of our lives, well, there are not enough jobs, and there will not be enough jobs. So why should you fit in? Because it's an empty promise. It's a delusion. At the same time, at work, but everywhere in society, the stress level has increased tremendously. There's so much stress, burnout, people working many, many hours. Yeah, well, also because of technology, when it's very easy to work so many hours. So work has become much more troublesome. So there's no promise of work. There is a lot of stress. You're not getting paid much. So why should you try to fit in? Because that fitting in is quite unnatural. We're human beings, we're not machines. And in the fitting in system, we're used as machines, we're used as tools, we're used, yeah? That's why they talk about the ROI, the return on investment of hiring another person. That's why we are called human resources and not human beings. That all relates to the fact that we're just like a machine. But if that's not good for our health. That's not good for getting to know ourselves. That is not good for truly expressing ourselves. That is not good for getting to know who we are and what our passion is, what we want to do, and how we want to impact the world on our terms. In the old days, when you stand out, yeah, you did something different. You were labeled as a revolutionary or a rebel or a troublemaker, the word I used before. But I think that in today's world and even much more in tomorrow's world, you need to stand out. There's no other choice. If you want to make a conscious choice for your own health and well being, you need to stand out. You need to choose for yourself. And you need to express yourself. Because that will give you work. That will give you peace of mind. That will give you fulfillment. It's Tony Robbins who calls it the art of fulfillment. Fulfillment is an art. And the basic of that is that you have the courage to be who you really are rather than to allow people to put you in a box. So standing out is something which you need for your own health. But you also need it to get work, to get paid work, to get assignments, to get nice friends and relationships. Because I think that is what most people crave for. They all want, not even deep in their hearts, but in their heart, everybody wants to be him or herself rather than being a model of a machine. So if you are that role model, people will follow your example and people like you. And you will attract interesting people, either in work or personally. So standing out is no longer that you are a rebel or a revolutionary. It's just plain common sense. But it's your decision. The system still wants you to fit in. But do you choose for the system? Do you choose for your own health and well-being? It's your decision.